Welcome back to Mole Music. I'm Mole Hugo, and I'm joined by, on the other side of the screen, my dear two moles.
Mole Ben.
And Mole Jessica.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
Mole Ben.
Huh? Mole Ben?
That's me.
That's you. And that's Mole Jessica.
Wow.
And we are
you.
three underground musicians trying to dig our way out of the muck, the mud, the filth, and find the light in this modern era culture of weird music making and everything that goes on around it.
When I'm 78, I'm going to be destitute. I'm not going to have any children. Jessica will be a shell of who she is now, if not dead. Most of my friends and relatives will be gone. But the one thing I'm happy about is they'll probably make euthanasia legal by then, so I'll have my way out. Turn on some Pink Floyd and die.
Pink Floyd.
That's the way to do it, folks.
Yeah.
Yep. So we got a lot to look forward to as musicians. But in the meantime, what are we doing?
We gotta live.
I want to know, because we talked about this last time. What have you been listening to? What album have you listened to in the past period of time?
I have been listening to the Adrienne Linker album Bright Future. Pretty much every time I get in the car, I'm like, it's time to listen to that again. Then I went to go see her last week play in Boston, and
Telling our secret life.
oh my, it was quite a good show that made me cry. Very rare at a show. Very rare for me. And then also, it was lovely to hear her music from different periods. She played some music from UFOF, the Big Thief album, and the new album, Bright Future. Oh my God, it's so good. I think it's her best work. And the songs that really stand out a lot are Once a Bunch of Times.
Why?
I would say for the chorus, it goes like, once a bunch of times. Let me think of the chorus. Half a margarita, have a little dance. Let's find down the demons and give peace a chance. And it's just like
it's great.
There's something about most of the songs on this album that just feels so timeless, and like they had almost like multiple songs felt like they were covers, like the last song Ruined, the song Donut Seam. When I heard them, I was like, oh, this must be a cover because it feels so familiar to me already. But it just is like she's tapping into like something ancient that's just like this river of creativity that it just exists, and it could come at any time.
Can you sing another one of those timeless?
Yeah, another one
choruses?
is let me think for a second. Donut Seam is so good. It's I think I have to listen just for a second.
Okay, well, it's all right then.
No, I want to do it.
I just think we'll get in so much trouble from the lawyer.
No, we won't. I'll be right back.
All right, she's going now. Okay, so now it's a boys only show.
Hell yeah. Finally.
I'm gonna watch it.
Okay, let's arm wrestle.
All right.
Ready? 3.
Let's
2,
go.
1. Oh, damn. Oh,
shit.
you're better at this strength thing than I am.
I'm not sure about that.
I'm humiliated. Isn't it interesting there's no like female version of the word emasculated? Like we can lose our masculinity, but there's no word for like losing your femininity. Makes me think there's something to that. You know, maybe I don't know. Maybe we're more defined by our actions and less by our something else. I don't know.
Our words.
Interesting thought. Well, she's
Okay,
back. Let's
I'm
not
back.
talk.
Yes.
Shut up,
Now-
boys.
Now sing.
Okay.
Yes, now sing.
So this one, Donut Seam goes, this whole world is dying. Don't it seem like a good time for swimming before all the water disappears?
Yeah,
Ugh.
timeless.
So good. And with the harmonies, you can't believe it. It's so good. It's so good. And yeah, Ruined. And the first song on the album, Bright Future.
Did you play a
is
lot off of the new
called-
record, or?
She just played a couple. Real House. That's what she started with. That's the first song she played in the show. And oh boy, did that one make me cry big time. It's got a big sad ending. But I also don't want to spoil it.
It is one of those songs where hearing it for the first time, unspoiled, actually kind of matters.
It kind of matters.
But I'll say, like, music is harder to spoil with words.
I
Sure.
agree.
Yeah.
So it's not like, I mean, I agree, maybe don't spoil it.
I won't.
But I do think even if it were spoiled, it would hit all the same.
Yeah.
Or maybe not all the same, right? I don't want to contradict what I just said. I'm not a liar. But I have been trying out violence lately. More so like violence towards nature and
In what
violence
ways?
towards what's natural.
Ben's been like putting his finger really hard on all the leaves outside.
I'm putting my finger like so hard on them that they're like, I mean, it's not doing anything, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
But I've been attacking nature by sitting in front of my computer a lot. I've been
Yikes. How could you?
Yeah, I'm abusing like what's natural by staying inside.
It's the season for that, though. I get it. It's not.
Because of the cold.
Yeah, it's cold. I don't want to go
Hell yeah.
outside. I want to stay in bed
I
right
didn't
now.
think about that. That's a good point.
That's the opposite of donut team.
Oh,
This whole world is dying. Why don't I stay inside and look at my pooter?
yeah, look at my computer. Look,
Now that's the lyric.
so I got a whiteboard few weeks ago, maybe like a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
I've been writing on it, and I'm currently looking at it. And it's getting out of hand.
Yeah, I agree.
It's getting out of hand. There's too many things that
For our
need
our
to
listeners, our future listeners on Apple Music and Spotify and Tidal, Ben is looking really attentively at presumably a whiteboard.
I really appreciate you clarifying for all those kind young people, our new young audience who use Apple. They use Apple products. Okay, Zoomer. I feel funny about that. My people, we only use Microsoft Computer.
Yeah. Microsoft Music.
Microsoft Windows Media Player.
Do you think it crashes all the time?
Well, it crashes into my heart and leaves a big open well of warm, fiery tires.
Whoa.
Come on! I can't think of what to say. But I'll say, like what I've concluded, though, just from looking at my board and my life. I have to, oh no, I'm the one changing the subject from what music did we listen to. I mean, we're all sorry. Podcast style. The three things I have to do at all times is I have to be making a course, I have to be making YouTube videos, and I have to be making Sweetie Cuties. I have to do all three at once, it turns out. So I got to figure the hell out how to do it that way for the new year. And maybe this time it'll be better. But
what about the
it's just
season
tricky.
idea? That seemed to work.
I am. Everything's going to be seasons, but I'll still have to make them
Sure.
like endlessly. It would be good if there were no gaps. Obviously you need vacations, you need breaks, so I'll have to design that.
Yeah.
But the point is the YouTube videos can't be taking 50 hours. I have to find a way to do really useful, nice videos that people actually like, that add to the world. But I have to figure out a way to do them in 1 or 2 days max. And I'm not talking about Maxim magazine.
Oh.
I'm talking about Max from the Goofy movie, Goofy's son. Something good.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Do they have Maxim out there in the Netherlands?
Max as in Goofy's son?
No, of course. I'm talking about Maxim magazine.
I don't think so. I'm not sure. I'm not a magazine person.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's so rare for a millennial.
Yeah, I'm using this thing called the internet, Ben.
You don't go to People magazine
I'm
to
on
find
my
out what
pooter.
happened?
People magazine.
What about People's Man of the Years? Or Men
Yes.
of Years?
And clocks.
There are some very old men.
Oh,
Let's not
Yes.
get into it. So what have you been listening to, Hugo?
I have been listening to Lust Sick Puppy, which I was not familiar with. That's pretty cool. It's very
Ooh.
industrial, very heavy, a lot of aggressive sounds that I like, and female fronted rap. I assume it's just beats produced for her. I don't know if it's a band, but it was good. It's called Carousel from Hell.
cool.
Recommend.
Okay.
Give it a try.
I love the name.
Yeah.
Carousel from Hell or Lust Sick Puppy.
I love
Lust Sick Puppy.
Mhm.
Lust
Mhm.
Sick Puppy.
Lust Sick Puppy. Lust Sick Puppy.
Less dick puppy. All right. Whatever.
Please.
Cool. Whatever.
Also,
Aha.
I went to see Shushu. Speaking of
Oh.
concerts, I saw Shushu
Yeah.
last week, and it was also very, very good. And I was front and center, best possible place,
Ooh.
kind of small venue,
Holy shit.
so it was like nice and intimate setting. Hell yeah, so good. It was the show I was hoping for since COVID, and I finally got it. So was nice.
Aw. Tell us more. What were there any like specific moments that stood out to you?
Yeah, nice blend of all sorts of songs from their discography, and just intense as heck, which is what I needed because I haven't been to a show that was really intense and passionate, and you could feel like, okay, this is authentic music,
Yeah.
and that was good.
Wow.
Yeah, that was inspiring very much.
I think it's relevant to our audience to mention you were thinking of not going.
Yes, this is true. Yeah. How
What
did you know this?
What? I just felt it. I just felt. What pushed you over to be like, all right, I'm going.
Well, it's Shushu. I like that band a lot, so I got tickets. I
Yeah.
can't not go, but yeah, I was
Yeah.
kind of in the dumps that day. I was like not feeling it. It's cold. I want to stay in bed, like I said, and you go anyway. And I'm glad I did because this was a top 5 show, definitely.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's fabulous.
go to your
I
shows,
didn't.
kids. It's good. They're good for the heart, for the feels.
Yeah, I get why you would think of not going. We skipped a show. We
Yeah.
had tickets. We were gonna be like, it was the day we filmed the coffee
Yes.
episode.
Oh,
And we were like, all right, we're gonna get coffee. We're gonna go to the show. But we started feeling like I don't want to go all the way to Boston.
Yeah.
It's gonna drive us 3 hours this day,
Yeah.
1 hour and a half each way, and
that's a hell of a trip for a
Yeah.
show.
yeah. I mean, we do it. Like Jessica had a really wonderful concert on Saturday that was for our friends in the band Meridian. It was their CD release show, and we went. We played there, and the other 2 members of the band, they come down from Boston to play the show.
Yep. They do.
Matt and Kate. I'll quiz me on the names of the band members.
Oh, who else is in the band?
Jessica,
Yep.
and who else?
And who else?
Ben sometimes.
Yep. And
Kate
yep.
and Matt.
Yep. Good
and
job.
they're the ones who came down from Boston, hour and a half.
Yeah, they did, and it was really such a special show.
Why?
Well, one of the things was I thought I liked our set. I made funny mistakes, but I didn't let them bother me, which is like it felt good to like not be like stuck, not get in my head.
Yeah.
And I also felt like so many of my friends had never seen Justice Cow live before
With a band.
with a band or at all.
Ah,
Most of them at all.
we're talking.
We're talking Morgan,
Well, you don't have to
Chris,
name.
Chris, Josie.
Okay, you can
I'll-
name them.
I'll
I don't see
name
why they
them.
wouldn't want to be named.
And a lot more people had never seen me play, and it just was like I felt very seen because I have so much experience, and that is like one of the places I feel the most powerful is on stage. And it was also special, really special, because Meridian put in so much work into making the show special. They had the song called Kayla, and it's basically about like a person who's like rude and like kind of messed up and did mean things to the singer of this band, and their idea was that everyone becomes this person, Kayla, and so they made like maybe around 100 like pink visors out of paper, and
Name
a
tags.
bunch of name tags.
That said,
so we all were Kayla.
Okay.
And then there were like big, amazing like paper mache props and costumes for certain songs and dances, and it just felt like there was so much extra effort into making this show special.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen that since like before the pandemic. And like, it's just so rare that you go to a show and are like, wow, there was something I really have never seen before. Or something that made me feel like we're all part of the same thing.
Yeah.
And it happened at this show, and it was just like so fun to be at a show like where a bunch of people were there, and it was a wonderful meeting of worlds, and I also had one of the best sandwiches of my life afterwards
at Providence Vegan Deli.
Oh my God, they had Thanksgiving the next day. Was it?
It's called Thanksgiving leftovers or something.
Yeah,
the sandwich is called leftovers.
Yeah, and it's full of like fake turkey and all the Thanksgiving leftover ingredients,
crispy onions, mashed potatoes,
and
sweet
potatoes and the cranberry and the gravy,
stuffing.
It was unbelievable.
She did not believe it, so she went up to the counter and
I want to eat it again.
Slammed her hand down on the counter and she said, "I don't believe this. You better prove it." And then they shoved another one in her mouth, and she got so full.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was so good. But yeah, I've been thinking a lot about shows lately because of these shows in my life that we went to and then that I played at.
That sounds like an inspiring show, at least.
Definitely. Yeah.
Did it give you some ideas
fun
for your own setup?
Yeah. Maybe not like literal ideas of like, this is what I'm going to do, but just the idea of doing extra things to make a show feel more special and like everyone's part of it. That I got to think on and just be like, what are, like, also just, it's such a simple idea, the name tags and the paper visor. And I know it's like a lot of work to make those, but also like not very expensive, and just to make everyone feel like they're part of something, it's definitely worth the extra work.
I want to do a Sweetie Cutie dream sing-along show. Dream along show. That's cool.
Dream along show.
Yeah. But a sing-along show. I'll call it a dream along show. But everybody, once I can finally make the Sweetie Cutie songbook, everyone can open to a page and we sing and play different Sweetie Cuties all together.
Wow.
Like,
cool.
That sounds so lovely.
Because Sweetie Cuties, if you sing them yourself, it doesn't quite hit.
No.
But it
feels
feels good in a group.
High most of the time.
Yeah, so if you like, I wear pants when I can, but these days I do not have time. Like, that would be more fun if everybody sang it low together than being like, I wear pants when I can, but these days I don't have time.
Yeah.
It's really so expensive. It's just very high. Mind your own business. Oh, yeah.
So open wide, that feels nice. See?
Yeah.
That's really high. Yeah.
This is the first day in like several weeks where I haven't sang and played over a drone in the morning.
You didn't do it?
I jumped right into making Sweetie Cutie Love in Heaven.
Wow.
That's what happens when I'm working on something I want to work on. I just jump right in. Ben Morning.
That was something else me and Hugo were going to try.
Ben Morning? Or the drone.
The drone.
Right.
I totally forgot about that one.
Drone Morning.
I feel like I only did it once with Ben, partially, and then twice because we have our streams our practice streams on the weekends now.
I have done that kind
but-
of improv, but not
Yeah.
consciously, as in like that's a morning routine thing. Yeah.
That's like the first thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I like singing 1 flat 2 flat 3
Mhm.
5 flat 6. It sounds like this. Sa re ga pa da pa ga re sa. Those 5 notes. Sa re ga pa da sa pa da pa ga re sa re ga pa da sa da pa ga re sa. Like those 5 notes. That's really nice for singing, making some slidey stuff. Sa re sa re pa da pa ga re sa re sa da pa ga re sa re ga da pa. That's fun. It's not a great morning scale. The morning I like Dorian, like sa re ga ma pa da ni sa ni da pa ma ga re sa. I did that right? Da 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 da. Yeah. I like that for the morning.
Yeah.
Because it's a skill you're more used to, or
It's just bright, and I like how it just like feels. Sa re ga pa da pa ga re sa is like evening for me. It's a little more like
interesting.
descending and low.
Do you feel like Lydian is bright as well?
That's morning, yeah.
Yeah.
Sa re ga ma pa da ni sa ni da pa ma ga re sa.
Yeah.
It's been helpful for singing the intervals and the modes easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
how have the
Yeah,
practice
it's
streams
been-
been?
They've been good. You know, it's tricky when you're doing something actually meaningfully useful to people as a musician
Yeah.
or an artist. It's not necessarily the hookiest thing.
Yeah.
You know, like we're taking our time. We're like really practicing.
It's very wholesome.
Yeah, but it's like I don't see how that show's necessarily going to grow,
No.
but I think it will stay good.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's the right like way to look at it either.
Look at growing the size. We should be looking at growing the depth.
Yeah.
I agree. It's just some things got to grow. I've got to make the money. So I got to put that somewhere.
Yeah.
I might stop doing Wednesday streams and just do Saturday streams and then put out a video on Tuesdays.
What's happening on
Interesting.
Wednesday streams?
Wednesday streams are the miscellaneous, and so
Okay.
the election happened, and then the next day was a Wednesday, and I streamed, and it was very cathartic, and like it felt right.
Yeah, I can get that.
Then the next week I did a Wednesday stream, and like people started pushing me to talk about like Gaza and Israel, and that felt weird because it was like, why do you want to hear what I have to say about that? I have very boring things to say. Basically, war is bad. War equals bad. Kill equals bad. Murder equals bad. Like really, like what do you want to hear from me? And it's like partially because I mentioned I was Jewish earlier in the stream, I think, because then people are asking me more and more, even after I was like saying that. And so that was a bit uncomfortable. But
Yeah.
then
Makes sense.
this week I did it again, and I did working on my Love in Heaven Sweetie Cutie thing I'm making. I made Heaven on the stream, or at least I started it. And, you know, I really liked that, and I really liked the first Wednesday that I did it. But I think it's just kind of hard to balance that feeling when you're streaming of, like, caring a lot about the community and doing things you genuinely want to stream, and balance that with looking at the number of people who are watching. Because it is relevant if you're in my position, in fact, all of our positions as artists, it is if we're making our job, our art, it's relevant to have some area in our lives where we're bringing in new people consistently to go through and like discover all of that we do and potentially sign up for lessons, and that's where money comes from. And so you have to have somewhere in your whole like mush of things you do, something has to be growing. Unfortunately, like unless you had a subscription service and all you had to do was keep making stuff for the subscription service, that would be lovely. But the reality is, for me, the business model, it relies on continuously showing up in new people's feeds.
Well, even with the
And
subscription
so-
model, that'd be true because people leave for whatever
They
reason.
come and go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would just be nice if I had because there's probably like my top 1,000 people who care about what I do, who like everything I do. If I could truly like just serve them as well as possible, it would be less stressful than casting such a wide net and just
Right.
hoping, but so I'm thinking like I'll keep the Saturday stream going because it accomplishes what the Wednesday stream does, which is gives people this nice space. And instead of like doing 2 streams that are like making me get more and more like questioning what I'm doing and doing that psychological dance, it's better to stream once a week, do it really well, and acknowledge it for what it is. If it's not growing, fine, but it's going to be our Saturday thing. It's going to be special. It's going to be nice. It's going to get depth. We're going to get depth. But then I got to grow something else. And so I got to put out YouTube videos to grow. Guess what? I'm old, damn fucking repeating myself record guy. I'm broken record. There it is. I'm a broken man who's on record many times in this podcast. No, I just have, it's just something that works, and I'll just keep doing it until, and simultaneously, if I keep doing Sweetie Cuties, I think someday that could solve some of my problems.
That'd
Someday.
be nice.
I think it's not a bad thing to keep talking about it, though. I mean, it's part of the reality of being an underground musician.
Yeah. It's not like you do something new every week. If you're an underground musician, you probably have to do a few things a lot for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even just the like making the music and releasing the music is like a repetitive process, and a lot, I would say probably most people who make music don't experience tons of growth between releases.
True.
And that can be hard to just feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results and not growing, because we all got the growth idea in our minds as like the ultimate good thing, when it's like it's really hard to have actual like perspective on like what numbers equate to in regards to people's experience with your art. And sometimes there's no metric for depth when you're looking at the album you just released. There's no metric for how if that led to people making their own art. There's no metric for that thing that happens with your favorite music where it actually sits in your memory in like this really special way, and you have like a memory tied to the song, and whenever you listen to the song it makes you think of that special memory, and no matter where you are, you always think of that one day. And it's just like there's no metric for that. And
100%.
We're just in a weird system with dollars and streams that we like the numbers. The numbers were like, this is the truth, when the truth is a lot broader.
I mean, if you knew 75% of your views were bots, then what do views mean? And like apparently 75% of some companies like Twitter ads. Where did I see this recently? It was like a legal eagle video. Or no, it was a Ben Jordan video about he did
his bot
research on
video.
on bots, bot accounts, and he mentioned
That was a great video.
Yeah, it's spooky. He mentioned that at one point 75% of the views that went on this ad that was sold on Twitter, some advertiser paid for this ad, and 75% of the views they paid for were bots.
Whoa.
And so
Damn.
the numbers are tricky and not necessarily reflective on anything meaningful. And to support what you said, Jessica, you mentioned there's no metric for depth. Well, if you go on tour and people show up, you get it. That was like the thing that
Yeah.
touring did. If you're lucky enough to be in a band that has enough people who care about your show to go to it, then you get that feeling, and you still fucking take it for granted like a bastard. It happens. You can get the depth metric and still be all like,
It's not enough.
it's not enough. And that's partially because touring is so brutal. It feels like you need an enormous payoff for it to make sense. But I think about people who drive trucks from one side of the country to the other and then back, and that's their job. And they make more money than our band ever did, doing that. But like as individuals, they don't get people at each side being like, you made it. You did it. You got the truck all the way over here. That's so cool. You're so good at this. And then like hundreds of people are just along the way being like, keep it up, keep driving, keep getting there, and I always found that there was a certain
for truck drivers.
Yeah, I think they deserve it. I think there's a certain enlightenment that comes from, well, I don't know if this is true. It's like kind of romantic thought that I have that the people who do things like those really hard things like drive the trucks and don't get the applause, it's kind of like amazing to me. I don't know about if I think it's a beautiful thing. It's kind of sad and in a way, but like not. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is it's amazing to me that they do it.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing to me that they stick it out and that they get really good at these sometimes super dangerous situations. It's like truck drivers are amazing to me. They're like the way that I think music fans think about touring bands is how I think about the truck drivers. I'm not very impressed by a band that tours. I'm impressed by small bands that tour, that really rough it out and make it happen, because I mean that is extremely hard, and like there's no financial incentive there, and so it's like showing a lot of spirit and a lack of jadedness, and it's admirable and interesting and wild. But like people who tour in buses, as hard as that is, I look at that as like I guess my point, I don't look down on that or anything, but I look up to truck drivers. I'm like the truck drivers, they're doing something, I guess, that feels like so much more connected to like how the reality of the human experience is generally for people. You do a lot of things that are really hard without anyone applauding you. And I feel personally like I'm so used to everything I do being validated heavily by like people who are like going, go Ben, that it makes it, I'm not saying I'm weak or something. I think that's a false patriarchal concept there, but it just makes it hard for me to do the things that no one applauds me for doing that I need to do.
Yeah.
And I'm just impressed when people are good at that.
Yeah.
Do you think that happened over time? Because initially you didn't have that support, I imagine. Well, maybe your parents and friends, but you didn't have an audience. I mean,
We got pretty lucky early on.
I think we had mentors.
Yeah.
We had people telling us, you're really special. This is going to work.
Yeah. I think, even really early on, we were pretty much always being told by strangers, y'all are going to blow up. Like that phrase was just like always around.
Yeah.
You won't see them at this venue next year because they're going to be too big to play it.
Yep.
People would say that.
Yep. And that is a confusing thing to ever start believing, because then when it happens slower than you expect, you start doubting everything. And also, it just changes your expectations, right? Instead of being like, this was a great show, I had a fun time, it's like, this show isn't enough. Now I want bigger thing. And also the term blowing up means really different things to different people. And I think objectively, like to a lot of people, like where our band was at when we left was like a blown up place. But I think to us, it maybe wasn't, because we were always opening for other bands, and that feels like we're still in some beginning or middle stage rather than a final boss stage.
That seems
When
like
we
the
had
thing
our
where you're
first-
still always comparing it to a higher tier of the job.
Exactly. Yep. And just the comparison is a thief of joy thing.
Yeah.
you know?
When we had our first big opening tour for the Dillinger Escape Plan, was what it was. That's when I think we made it.
Mhm.
Like, that was it. Even though we were the first band of 4,
Mhm.
and even though we were paid like $100 a night
It was 150 for the
150.
whole band.
per night, we were allowed to sell merch. No one was taking a cut of our merch. We didn't have
That's
to
true.
buy onto the bus. I mean,
That's true.
I'd say it was,
That was a pretty good
for the budget
situation.
they had, I'd
Yep.
say it was fair.
Yep.
I have no resentment about that rate. It's just, it
No.
was very low.
Yeah.
That was truly the glorious thing I always wanted when I was a teenager. It happened there.
Yeah.
And here are like the aspects that happened. First of all, every night we played for a lot of people.
Yeah.
We didn't have to try to get people to come to the show. They were there. They liked it. We generally won the audience over. So it wasn't like that weird feeling of opening and like no one wants to hear you.
Yeah,
we didn't
yeah.
have that. It was nice.
They're
Yeah.
just
Good
sitting you out
shows.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Really good shows.
We made friends with everyone else on the tour. We had a good experience, especially with, some of them, like, we got extra close and
Mhm.
just had had lovely interactions. Another thing about it that was so amazing was just experiencing, like, that feeling of playing in a show where there's a long line out the door before it starts, and just knowing, like, I'm doing that. Like, I'm
Yeah.
part of that.
Yeah.
I think those things, they're at once just kind of, they're not necessary to enjoy the fruits of music. On the other hand, you're really lucky if you ever get to experience it. It's rare, and it's amazing to be, like, involved in something that many people are so passionate about.
Yeah.
And the feeling was, I think, for Jessica and I, was very much content. I
Yeah.
think we were like this. We were like really doing it. We were happy each day, I think.
Oh yeah, happy, inspired, driven, like just full of possibility, full of inspiration, full of like seeing the Dillinger Escape Plan's like stage presence, and then changing our stage presence every night, going further.
We
Being
learned a lot.
We can move more. We can like
Yeah.
walk around. We can like dance. We can
Yeah.
like be
Yeah.
a show.
Yeah.
And not just like make our music happen in the air, but we can like be the conduits of our music through our movements as well. And that was huge.
But I think like the dark side of this is, then we got it in our heads that this was the future. It was that now that we've done this, it's only up from here. And just as we climbed from, like, going on Sonic bids and begging a local band to let us open for them, like a local band, like not even like, just like trying to get a gig.
Yeah.
We went from that to this tier of like whatever live music. We thought next, our fate, our like goal is we're going to be the Dillinger Escape Plan. That's like what's in store for us.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out that way. It was more like a lot of silence for a while, and then we got Thank You Scientist took us out, which was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And that felt great. And then Haken and Leprous and anyone else take us out after that. Maybe I'm forgetting.
Full?
No, that was with Haken.
Yeah.
So yeah, then we had.
Were
the
those
Haken,
still
the
as
Leprous.
valuable experiences though as Dillinger?
Well, the thing, like, they were even fancier. You know what I mean? They were like even more well attended, fancier experiences.
Okay, I figured Dillinger
especially,
is a bigger band out of those. But
well,
I'm not
yeah,
sure.
but it was just, I guess, because there were fewer. Like what happened was we went with Haken in Europe, and that's where they're like massive, you know. And
I would say the fanciness was pretty similar
For the
venue
US.
wise, but the vehicle was a big deal that we were
in Europe,
traveling in a
well,
bus.
but in the U.S. the venues were similar, but in Europe they were
a
bigger
bit smaller in the U.S. than
in Europe.
than the Dillingers. They were much. I would say they were
Okay.
a bit smaller.
I guess my point is though, it wasn't a linear like up
No.
and up and up and up.
Yeah.
And when we finally did find ourselves on a tour bus in Europe playing, you know, it was like the most romantic, you know, perfect. You get your full night's sleep and like all that feeling. When we finally got there, it was like, okay, so now we're getting started because this is what we could sustain. This is what we should do is now we should always end up in this situation. And it's just classic lifestyle inflation. And we're all susceptible to this. So it really makes it seem like happiness is just right there in front of you. Like if you like there's some way you could just be happy with now, because if you can be equally jaded or unhappy with anything, even your wildest dreams coming true, then there must be a way to be like content. It must be possible. Or maybe it's not, and then it's just like a message to be to not stress too much about like if you've made some certain career marker or not, because it won't make you happy anyway. Ha. I don't know. What makes me happy now, though, I'll say it's like it is just like those days where I kind of get lost in my work and I'm not thinking about anything else, and it just kind of happening, and I'm having a nice time making a song or a Sweetie Cutie video or something like that. That is very nice. I work from 8 till 4, and then I walk the dog, and I come home and relax. That's a good day.
That is a good day. You're a good guy.
I
Good
do
job.
it sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It happens sometimes.
Yep.
But I mean, it's like that with YouTube too. I'm sure in your experience where like you have those up moments and then it doesn't necessarily continue that way.
There's just like, it seems like there's some threshold of financial threshold that if you did cross it, it would make a difference. Cause like we had our taste of having more money than we needed. And
it was fun.
It was fun. It was
not
like,
gonna lie.
We were
It was
like,
a
all
lot
right,
easier.
let's fly to Denver to visit the family. Let's fly to, fly to Denver for a wedding. Fly to Seattle to visit the family. Fly to
Georgia. Do a music thing with our friends.
And then fly to Arizona to do like work on the border and just like.
And
how many flights did we have?
And LA and Washington.
We flew a lot.
And St. Louis. We flew like 8 times in like 3 months.
Now, anytime I have to do a flight anywhere, I'm like, fuck, life's going to be so much more complicated for the next 2 months while I'm recovering from this. From the just this extra expense.
I'll never recover from this financial setback.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No,
it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are feeling this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think a lot of people are just struggling financially. I think that's just happening a lot.
Yep.
I think that's true, but at the same time, I don't know how it is in the States, but everything is booked out. Like if you don't, like after COVID, if you don't book well in advance, like tough luck, you're not getting in. Like things
So
are
restaurants-
sold out everywhere.
The flights,
No, like
you're saying?
events, like everything. Everything.
Interesting.
I heard, I was like looking into the making of the League of Legends Arcane cartoon series, and they mentioned that during the pandemic there was all this money coming in, and people were just like, all right, from now on the people are going to just stay home and play video games, so video game companies are going to make way like more money forever. And
Yeah.
then people started leaving the house, and they had to lay off a lot of people and make
Right.
all these huge sacrifices and adjustments to survive. And I was just like, dang, how am I relating to a giant video game company? Like, that's crazy. But it's just because,
That
that affected our industry too, of
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
online people.
Yep.
definitely. Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird to look back at parts of the pandemic with like intense nostalgia.
It makes sense, though. You're not like
Yeah.
nostalgic about all the suffering and loss. You're just nostalgic
Yeah.
about the time
Yeah.
that you had and the reflection.
And just like the different like shape of the day and
Mhm. It's like going to camp.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There were different dynamics and, fond groups you were a part of whatever,
Yeah.
No.
Made a lot of new friends during the pandemic, ironically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Met Hugo and all those different YouTube people that I was working with.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice
It's really
interactions.
nice.
All the people on the streams, the bajillions
Yeah.
of people who sang at the end of Giraffe.
Right.
Mm. Those were
Our
cool
doggy
streams.
just groaned, so I'm gonna go touch him for a second.
Touch him?
All right.
All right, boys' night again.
Hell yeah. Shall we get into our next section?
Yeah.
Show and tell, where we show and
Ah,
tell
yeah.
what we've been working on. I finished the Silent Hill series. I finished all the thumbnails, finished editing it. Just needs to be uploaded. I'm done. I'm a free person. I can move on to
Wow.
grander, more musical things again in my life. But it was a fun
Cool.
experience for a little bit. So,
Hugo finished Silent Hill, finished editing it, making all the
Hell
thumbnails,
yeah.
and is uploading them now.
Congrats.
thank you.
And
Yeah.
so what?
My Silent
are
Hill
these,
season is over. And
What are
Damn.
what are some of the things you're most proud of from doing that?
Good question.
I think the routine and finding a workflow for all of that made it so much easier. That gave me a lot of confidence in like, I could do this with music stuff, probably. I could make videos about music related topics and make them way more efficiently and not be so, oh my God, it's so much work. I don't know if I can ever make videos about music on YouTube again, because that took me like 2 months to make that video. Probably not.
Yeah.
It'll probably take me 2 weeks now. So
Wow, cool.
Hell yeah.
What are you
Pretty good.
gonna do to test that?
well, I need to make that damn album first, but then
Yes.
we'll get back to some YouTube stuff.
Cool. And the damn album. Do you have a schedule in mind for that?
I don't have a damn schedule for the damn album. But,
Is
Um,
it damn? Is
it's
it a
called-
damned album?
It's called Kendrick Lamar. It's called Kendrick Lamar's Damn.
Yes, exactly. That was made by me.
Yeah, that was cool. how you
I did
ghost
that.
Wrote the whole thing.
Shit.
Yep,
I did that. Yeah.
Incredible.
incredible.
It's
Yeah, I
damned
love
for a
that
little
part
bit, but I'll get back into it. Yeah.
What do you think will be your first step to get back in?
Writing. I think a lot of writing. I need to write out more thoughts, more real thoughts, and figure out what this could be about, because it feels a
Where
bit
will you write?
paper, pen and paper,
Nice.
Yeah.
good old pen and
Analog.
paper. Yeah.
Do you think you'll
Love to
walk
journal.
to a cold bench?
It's so cold though. I don't know about that one,
Right.
but it's
Yeah,
worth a
it's not
shot.
the
I
time
think
of
it's
year.
probably interesting to
Could
try
go to
some
a
different
cafe or
areas.
something.
Yeah.
You could do a David Lynch.
A David
Yeah.
Lynch.
Right,
a coffee?
Right in
Eat a ton
diner.
of sugar and coffee and smoke
Yeah.
cigarettes.
Exactly.
Oh hell yeah.
If you ever want to write outside, I have a couple of tips, because during the pandemic I was doing the artist way with some friends, and I was doing my morning pages outside a good chunk of the time during winter,
Yes.
and I would get like a thermos just like really full of super hot like water that is like lemon, ginger, cayenne pepper water, so it was like really intense but also like really good and like warms you up on the inside.
Yeah.
And I would bring a teacup so I could hold it and warm up my hands. And yeah, I would just like try to find a spot where I could, just like a random spot where I could sit and look at something pretty and keep my hands warm and then write a bunch
And get in the zone.
That's my trick.
Cool. Yeah. I should give it a shot for sure.
Very cool.
What about you guys? What have you been
Me?
doing?
You want to tell your show and tell?
Yeah. So I've been doing a little bit of co-writing. Our friend Emma, whose artist name is Space Cowboy Newt. They're super, super incredible at music and singing and harp and production. And we wrote like the first part of a song, maybe the first like half of a song together. They came over and it was amazing, so fun and new feeling. And also in the workshop that I'm teaching at Brown, we did some co-writing last week, and then someone in that workshop was like, hey, I'd really like to co-write with you. So I got a lot of collabs going on,
Cool.
started, and I
And local
also
too.
and local too, exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've been feeling good about that stuff. Yeah, I'm just like working really hard whenever I can on my big mountainous stuff, but like I always feel like I'm right around the corner from it, and it's like I think that's all I'll say about that. Yeah.
Cool.
Getting there. I show and tell.
Your Sweetie Cutie stuff is gonna start. The new stuff's gonna start coming out
in 8 days.
Yeah.
8 days.
So by the time this is out, probably some of
Oh,
it
yeah.
will be out.
The
Yeah.
King of Work.
Yeah.
Coming out 1 episode a week for 15 weeks. The King of Work. My Sweetie Cutie universe first season of
Hell yeah.
the now continuous like story with recurring characters and lore. All of the other Sweetie Cuties that came before it are going to be in canon, by the way. Like, they'll all fit into the lore. So it's not like that other stuff is just ignore that. This is not. No, it's I'm just going to build upon it. And I got the mixes for my live Heaven live. So
Oh, cool.
those will be coming out too.
Are they good?
Coming
You
out
happy?
real soon. Yep. I just have to get the color correction happening.
No.
Then we'll start putting those out. And that's it for now, I guess.
Nice.
We have a different wife tomorrow. We have a brand new wife tomorrow.
Yep.
Who's
That's
it gonna
weird.
be?
I'm gonna be changed.
Yeah.
Ah,
She's
yes.
going through a large physical change tomorrow.
Yep.
Making a big physical transformation starting tomorrow. That is a big commitment. An expensive physical,
You'll never recover from this financially.
a big physical change. What'd you say?
That's
It works.
the thing.
That's the thing.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
You'll see the next time. You'll see her big physical change
You'll
next
see
time.
it.
That'll be a surprise. Though I
Mhm.
Yeah.
didn't we talk about it last time?
Maybe.
Well,
Yeah.
if you're really in on the podcast, you'll know about this big.
Let us know in the
Changing the color
comments
of
if
her
you
hair
watched
and
it
making
till
it
the
orange.
end. Put a little big physical
No.
change in the chat. In the comments.
Like, is it she's changing her hair to be orange?
Is it? I'm changing my hair to be orange. Is it that?
Orange as
As the fruit.
less more yellow than that. Probably.
Uh-huh.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. But
We'll see.
I'm
Diaper.
excited.
Next time.